You found your place, more or less? Well, we will fix this. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, jongens en meisjes. You may all sit. Good afternoon. My name is Barry Koren. I'm Vice Dean of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science here at the university. I all warmly welcome you in this diploma ceremony, particularly those who come from far away through this bad weather of today. It is a pleasure to have you and the candidates here for this graduation event. Eindhoven University of Technology is proud and glad that in this session 15, am I correct? Six, yes, 15 students will receive the degree of Master of Science. We offer our students a rich variety of high-level courses given by, we think, excellent teachers. We also offer our students challenging graduation projects. And together, these ingredients prepare our students very well for their future careers. Dear candidates, I hope you have enjoyed our university and her educational program. You have all passed your examinations and you will now be conferred your master degree. This degree entitles you to use the title Master of Science, or in Dutch, ingenieur. The examination committee of the Master Program Embedded Systems of Computer Science has assessed the works of the following 10 students. I hope I pronounce the names correctly. Pu Kan Huin. Yeah, you are here. You are sitting there. Thank you. Seturaman Yaya Raman. Thank you. Di Liu. Srinivas Pasupula. Praveen Pujari. Binay Tamrakar. Thank you. Fengjun Wang. Bing Xu. Thomas Nederlof. And Sander Vokke. Then the examination committee of the Master Program Industrial and Applied Mathematics has assessed the works of the following 5 students. Alberto Brini. Okay, thank you. Mark van der Boer. Chi Liu. Welcome, Chi. Edwin van Enthoven. And Maran van Hees. Okay, I would now like to invite Dr. Mesman to come here to confer the first master degree.
Dear Khan, as you have kindly allowed me to call you, in disregard of your name's proper pronunciation, which to my regret I have failed to master, my earliest notice of you, I believe, was in my course Computational Models, and although your facial features didn't provide me a clue as to your actual age, you did strike me as intellectually more mature than your fellow students. It was then much to my satisfaction to see us reunited in my more interesting course, Intelligent Architectures, in which we study and compare the mechanisms behind brain and computer. I know now that your maturity came with life experiences accumulated over time, as reflected in your age. Having received your bachelor degree, you decided to first gain working experience in the industry before engaging in your master's. A decision that has made my life as your supervisor a lot easier. You have chosen to embark on a mission, the likes of which could have come at the cost of your life only a few centuries ago, in such apparent defiance of the Church's claim on the origin and holiness of life. You're engaged in an attempt to recreate some of nature's creations in software and silicon, a field now referred to as brain-inspired or neuromorphic computing. A field that can no longer be called emerging, since it has established its position already some 8 years ago, when the top 10 competitors in some prestigious rewards, the name of which has eluded me when I wrote this, were all based on convolutional neural networks. The whole center, located nearby, wants a piece of the action, seduced by our brain's enchanted looms, as poetically coined by Sir Charles Sherrington, one of the pioneers in neuropsychology. Much in the project had already been decided on, like the clusters of neurons, and was considered out of scope for your master's project. You were left with the task of organizing the intercluster communication. I say with some sarcasm, considering that 98% of the brain's volume is concerned with communication, and there's no reason to anticipate that the picture will look any prettier for a silicon substrate. Unfortunately for you, there was little in the way of standing on the shoulders of giants. This is unexplored territory. And before we can even begin exploring it, first some infrastructure needs to be in place, in this case a simulator. As scientists, we love to capture reality in elegant mathematical formulas, but the hope on such a utopian prospect is proving increasingly delusional in the neuromorphic field. So rather than to mathematically describe how it works, we pragmatically predict how it will behave, based on a network model and programmed in software. And there's the catch. To program a software tool is just hard work with little reward. A noble enterprise, an act of altruism. It is to your credit that you were graded an 8, which I believe to be the maximum score given the task to which you were appointed. I was pleasantly surprised, though, to see you pay tribute to our intellectual forefathers. You began your thesis with a quote by Ramon Santiago y Cajal, the godfather of neural science, who put the neural paradigm at the center of focus. Another demonstration of your maturity by comprehending and appreciating this field's humble origins. The quote says, "Any man could, if he were so inclined, be the sculptor of his own brain." Now, there's nothing poetic about this quote, and yet it is the most inspiring quote I ever read. For one, because of its potential impact in terms of self-empowerment, reminiscent of Sherlock Holmes, who loved to manifest himself as a self-educated man. And secondly, because this is not a matter of God, Buddha, or any sort of spirituality. We know for a fact that this is how the brain works at the level of neural synapses, and to a considerable extent, we understand the biochemical processes involved, collectively referred to as neural plasticity. We tend to look upon others to establish our own identity, but we have the potential to do it on our own. It rather opposes the idealization of the collective so prevalent in many Asian cultures. It makes it that more extraordinary that you propagated that theme to begin your thesis. The whole center can now begin exploring, because you have successfully developed and tested your simulator, but it seems a bit of a shame to just leave it like that, and so you applied for a PhD position at IMEC. Without success, to my surprise. Perhaps they like their prodigies young and amenable to their own sculpturing. If I had a PhD position available, I would have offered it to you, but alas. Still, in extension to Cajal's quote, you are also the sculptor of your future. You see, it is a very real option that you take the initiative in writing a project proposal for funding. And if you do, then I will help you with writing and any other means available to me. But even if you don't, you can be proud of the exploration infrastructure that you have created, and we will continue to carry the torch that you had the privilege to light. Congratulations.
you, Dr. Mesmer. I would now like to invite Dr. Mark Heijmans.
Dear Seturaman, you have performed your graduation project with Canon OSE. It's a company that makes professional printing equipment, and they were looking for a way to predict how long print jobs would take on their printing equipment. So they needed that because that would help them provide solutions for planning and scheduling of the printing process to their customers particularly. This may sound simple because it may be usually fairly easy to predict this for our own home printers, but the printers are complex machines, and the printers that OSE makes are complex machines, and they tend to behave in quite unpredictable ways sometimes. You decided at the beginning of the project, we offered you a couple of possible approaches to this problem, and you've decided that you wanted to address this using so-called machine learning techniques. So those are methods where a machine, essentially a computer or a computer program, learns patterns from observing or getting examples of input data. And then it would learn those patterns, and it would be able to predict the outcome for new experiments, new print jobs. Again, this sounds simple. It sounds as if you can lean back and wait until the machine learns what it needs to learn and your job is done. Again, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. Turns out to be quite important to get the input data right, to provide it in the right form, and also to select the right learning techniques that can get the job done. You've impressed us quite strongly in the beginning, where you came up with a wide range of techniques, methods that you wanted to apply. You had investigated them, could talk about them, had experience with some of the tools, and you're off to a very good start. And maybe because of that, we sort of relaxed our tight grip that maybe we like to keep on students sometimes a little bit and let you go. Maybe it turns out that although you're very quick to explore new things and acquire new techniques, it turned out to be much harder to sort of consolidate your results and complete the experiments that needed to be done. Of course, on top of that, it also turned out to be quite challenging to get a hold of the data that we need to put into those learning algorithms from the company, from the deep details of the company. So in the end of the project, it became quite challenging to make sure that you had results that could show the value of your work by means of concrete experiments and tangible results. And a somewhat stressful period, I guess, followed around the holidays to make sure that you succeeded. Stressful for you, stressful for your supervisor, your daily supervisor, Joost from Pinkston. Nevertheless, it has reached a very successful result. You've delivered the data model that shows the potential of using these kind of machine learning techniques to form models of a fair accuracy of these print job times. Although, of course, as usual, in many cases, some additional work may be necessary to get it up to the level of full maturity that it can be employed. I have come to know you in this project as a very motivated, highly motivated, I would say, student, and very hardworking student. You were always very eager to perform very well. Maybe sometimes a bit too eager. Maybe sometimes it's good to also let go a little bit and lean back and think about the things that are going on. Some of the periods, as mentioned, were stressful, but they turned out all right. I hope that you still enjoyed, of course, the project in the end. At least we very much enjoyed working with you during the project. It remains for me to thank Joost van Pinkster for supervising you on a daily basis, and also Canon OSE for hosting the project. Congratulations again, and all the best for your future.
Thank you, Mark. No, 1995, not the first city.
Dear Dee, I'd like to begin with how your graduation assignment came to existence. Last year we started with several industrial partners, including Philips Lighting, a European Union project called M&CS, which stands for Open Architectures for Intelligent Solid-State Lighting Systems. OpenEyes is still running and will run until the end of next year. And it's motivated by the fact that in the near future, the majority of large office buildings will be equipped with lights and sensors that have internet connectivity for enabling various services beyond lighting. So buildings like Metaforum, Flux are examples of this. And another example, which is closer to reality, is the Atlas building, which is being renovated at the moment. And in 2018, the building will be reopened, and every lamp and sensor in that building will be connected to the internet, will have an internet protocol IP address, which is huge. The goal of the OpenEyes project is to make that technology building blocks to bring the IP technology to these end nodes, to the lamps, to the sensors in such a building. You can think of tens of thousands of them. So based on this collaboration, Henk Stevens of Philips Lighting defined a couple of master projects. And together with your friend Ping Ping, you indicated interest in doing a project with us, and you were basically given different options, each of which emphasized the different collaboration aspect with Philips in that sense, in the scope of OpenEyes. And among these projects, you picked the assignments on control deployment in open office intelligent lighting systems. The system architecture defined by the project, the OpenEyes project, allows many ways to deploy intelligence that controls lights in such a building. For example, you can put the intelligence in the lamps, in the sensors, or in the other extreme, you can put the intelligence in a server that is relatively further away from the users. And each has their advantages and disadvantages, and your task was to investigate all these options and come up with the best deployment of control, as well as the control protocols that go with them. Yours was a challenging task, since the assignment required really hands-on experiments, hands-on work with the Contiki operating system, which is quite buggy, and you had little prior experience before your master project. You spent a lot of time implementing multicast, which was not implemented before your work, which is a very good achievement, I would say, and debugging in several network layer protocols. So that was a beast. So you managed to pull through and make a successful project out of all this. So looking back at these past few months and the end result, I think your contribution to the OpenEyes project is significant. It was very good. You are a hardworking and persistent person, which actually helps a lot, and you successfully involve others as well. These are qualities that should further help you in your future career and bring you success. I congratulate you on this great achievement and would like to give you your alumni present.
Dear Vishnu, you too, like Setu Raman, you've worked at Canon OSE on their professional printing equipment, of course on a different problem. The problem that you were looking at was to determine in an online fashion, so essentially very quickly, what is the fastest way to print on sheets of paper And in particular, the choice that you have in the kind of machines is to decide essentially between the order of continuing printing on the first side of some sheet or starting to print the back side of another sheet. So one of our PhD students, Umar Wakas, has come up with some ideas about a better scheduling approach, but he did it on paper and the prototype implementation, which we thought would be fast enough to be used online, but that was not quite demonstrated yet by that work. So essentially your work was to demonstrate that this approach could indeed be used online and on a real machine. And to cut the story short till the end, that's what you have demonstrated. You have made an implementation that made the software faster, and kind of on top of that, made sure that it was able to deal with some other real-world constraints, such as the fact that these print requests, these print jobs are also arriving on the fly while you're already printing some of those sheets. And of course, that they have to adhere to some strict timing constraints. You have done good work, so this is shown by the fact that your work has led to an invention disclosure in the company, which means that OSE believes that the work has the potential of becoming a patent. Of course, they still need to study that, but at least they have believed that it has this potential. So that's a strong indication of the value, of the practical value of the work that you have delivered. In addition, I think it's also demonstrated by the fact that OSE shows commitment to the topic by also having another student continuing the work and taking it even one step further towards an implementation in a real machine. You have also shown to be a very hard worker. You've made long hours together with Setu Rahman at OSE. Making a very early start and very late finish, although possibly that was because by doing that the trains that you could take were cheaper, but I'm sure this was also from an intrinsic motivation to work very hard. You've shown to produce creative ideas and take initiatives, so your initiatives became immediately clear when you started. When we got questions from OSE, from the company, about this new student that was suddenly ordering new PCs with GPU boards through the online ICT services of the company, which apparently was not supposed to be happening, but that got settled. And in the end, I think everyone was very happy with the result of your work. We definitely enjoyed very much working with you during this project. So I'd like to thank in this case also Umar Wakas, who has been your daily supervisor on this project, and again, of course, the company can say that has been hosting your project. So also to you, congratulations and all the best.
Thank you very much, Mark. The session will be continued by Professor Van Berkel.
Dear Praveen, it's my pleasure to hand out the diploma, although I have not been involved in your thesis work at all. Unfortunately, Professor Lukien and neither Dr. Mak can make it today, so I'm going to read out a written speech prepared by Dr. Mak. Dear Praveen, I'm sorry that neither I, that is Dr. Mak, nor Professor Lukien can be present to address you in person on this happy occasion. We both have enjoyed supervising you, Professor Lukien during the preparation phase of your master project, and I during the project proper. Praveen, already a couple of months have passed since you graduated, but I guess you have been very busy in the meantime. For one, you told me after the graduation session that you would go back to your home country and get married, and moreover that upon your return to the Netherlands you not only would have a spouse, but you also have a new job awaiting you. I hope it all worked out that way. Always being very busy is the way I remember you. Being busy and being very excited and enthusiastic about the work you do, as was the case during your master project. You have done that project at a company called Omron in Den Bosch. At Omron, they have developed a device called SysMac IPC, which belongs to the Internet of Things and which today plays an important role at what may be called smart factory. In your thesis, you discuss a poultry, that is chickens, a poultry processing factory as an example of such a smart factory. Although it was merely an example, and designing such factories is an entirely different discipline, it was nevertheless interesting for me, and also for you, I guess, to learn how many processing steps a chicken endures before it ends up in a package that we can buy at the supermarket. Your contribution has not been in that area, but has been in the area of computing science and embedded systems. You have developed the architecture and software that implements the gateway functionality of the SysMac IPC. And for that you have studied various Internet of Things protocols, have built, amongst others, a protocol translation from, well, a protocol called lightweight machine to another protocol. And you have done that very successfully and to the satisfaction of the company, because Omron has filed for a patent based on your work. And I think that's quite special, a patent in your master thesis work. I sincerely hope that that patent will be granted, because for you, it certainly would be an impressive start of an engineering career. I also would like to thank the people at Omron, in particular Mr. Dingeman-Knaap, for their supervision and for providing you this opportunity. Finally, Praveen, it has been a pleasure having you as a student, not only because you did a good job, but because on top of that, you are a very nice person and have a pleasant personality. So to conclude, and also on behalf of Professor Lukien, my congratulations to you, your wife, your family, and all those dear to you. We wish you all the best and a bright future. Signed, November 7, 2016, Rudolf Mack.
Thank you, Professor van Berkel. The session will be continued again.
Let's mix them up. Dear Binay, so you came to me at some point looking for a graduation project in industry. I had some discussions fresh in my mind with Philips Healthcare, who are looking for students to work on projects to get a better grip on some of the processes in the company, using data analysis techniques or simulation-based methods. The domain that they were working with or on were not directly immediately related to embedded systems, your enrolled program. But the methods that were applied were very relevant and very similar to techniques that were used in the embedded systems domain. After convincing you that this would not have a negative impact on your evaluation to work on a topic in a different domain, you decided that you wanted to sign up for this particular challenge. So the project was about the use of data analysis techniques to find a model, a simple model, and hopefully also an accurate model to be able to predict the cost of repairs of professional medical equipment, and in this case particularly MRI scanners. So Philips had found that these costs had been increasing over the past years, and they felt that they did not have a full or sufficient grip on this process, and they did not understand the causes for these increases in price, so they wanted to have a model based on which they could understand what would be a reasonable and expectable cost for these repairs. So based on analysis of historical data and using statistical data modeling techniques, you have developed such a model, and you've also statistically demonstrated the accuracy that can be achieved with such a model. So the project was successful, so Philips has explicitly expressed that they have learned a lot from your work, gained a lot of insight in this process in their company, and the cost structure of the repairs that they are facing with, and that this will bring them actually in a better position to talk to these companies that deliver the services of repair to them. So that's a very nice result. I would like also personally to thank you for our collaboration, a very professional collaboration. You've always been very well prepared for meetings. I don't think you ever missed a meeting, at least I cannot really recall that. You've always been very friendly and open, also working very hard. I did not always make your life easy when we had discussions. I kept on insisting that you should tell me again over and over the bigger picture of your approach and the overall structure of your methods, because essentially I was too tired or too lazy to remember from last meeting what it was all about. At some points, you have been, doubting your own qualities. You sometimes asked me sort of confirmation that your work was good enough, was up to the standards. I think you might maybe try to be more confident in that respect, because in the end, it doesn't really matter what you say, how true it is, or how correct it is. If you don't say it with some amount of confidence, then probably people will not listen to you. I do believe that you have made a lot of progress in this project in that respect. I think your final presentation was very good and showed very well that you understood what you did and that you believed in your own results. And I'm sure you will continue to develop in this direction further. So I'd like to thank you, to thank Philips for hosting the project, and Jasper Verdijn, who was your daily supervisor at Philips. So congratulations and all the best for your future endeavors as well. Dear Van Jung, I was involved in your project only in the very end as a member of your assessment committee. But Professor Peczynski, who could not be here today, asked me to tell you a few words that he sent to me that I have here on paper. So I'll read them out to you. Dear Van Jung, congratulations with your successful graduation. It was a pleasure to have you in the Web Information Retrieval course and our research seminar for grad students. You wanted to face the challenges of doing a real data science project in a company. There's a popular saying, someone has to be careful about her wishes as they may become true. We did find for you a challenging project with Philips Research on equipment, rest use for life prediction. That is about the maintenance pattern analysis and predictive maintenance. This project called for experimenting with ideas and techniques from data mining, from signal processing, and from statistical process control. Luckily, you did have a solid and relevant to the project engineering background. Fortunately for Philips, but unfortunately for your project, their equipment was too good. Indeed, it is hard to predict rest useful life if equipment almost never fails. Hence, the problem of finding patterns of something going in the wrong direction in a data-driven way turned out to be even harder in your case. Nevertheless, your strong interest in data science combined with hard work has helped you to do a very good job overall. You did provide useful insights for the company from the data they provided. Congratulations with your diploma and good luck with your next job.
Thank you again, Mark. The session will be continued by Professor van Berkel again.
Dear Bing, it's my pleasure to hand over to you your Master of Science diploma. It also was my pleasure to supervise you during all this work. You've performed your thesis work at NXP Semiconductors at the high-tech campus here in Eindhoven, guided by Dr. Özgun Paker, and I would like to thank Özgun for his guidance. NXP, soon to be part of Qualcomm, is market leader in chips for cars. Future cars will have multiple cameras and radars to assist drivers. And all these devices will be connected by cables, so-called gigabit Ethernet cables. That will take another 5 or 10 years, but R&D is being done now in companies like NXP. However, moving so many bits at such high rates in a hostile environment like a car is asking for errors. Some of the bits flip when traveling from A to B. And that is where your thesis work is going to make a difference. You systematically explored and evaluated many alternative chip designs, and the picture over here is an example of such a chip design, or actually it is the chip you designed, to correct these errors. And for this, you had to teach yourself a lot, including Galois arithmetic, decoding algorithms, and advanced chip design. After all this rather steep learning, you appear confident and comfortable with all these topics, which I find pretty remarkable. And based on this confidence, you systematically zoomed in on the most power-efficient design for this decoder. Also, you are very well organized. For every meeting, and we had roughly a meeting every 3 weeks, you prepared a slide set showing your latest understanding, the progress in the work, and the new ideas. And there were many of these new ideas. You worked highly independently and responded very well to the various challenges. You not only planned your work well, but you also followed up on that planning. Again, the results were excellent, both in quality and quantity, with a minor, somewhat annoying exceptions, and those were the numerous spelling errors in your thesis. But altogether, your thesis committee happily graded your work with grade 9. Meanwhile, you have started your engineering career at NXP in the same group as a designer of digital circuits. I not only would like to congratulate you, but also would like to congratulate NXP with your employment. Dear Bing, you can be proud of your achievement, and I'm confident that you can look forward to a bright and inspiring career. My sincere congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Van Berkel. After the last time, 5th time, Mark. Thank you.
Dear Thomas, I've also not been involved, or Thomas, I should probably say. I've also not been involved in your project. My colleague of mine, Majid Nabi, has been your supervisor. He's a member of the Electronic Systems Group. He's currently in Iran and not able to address you in person, but he sent me some words that I will read to you. Dear Thomas, on this joyful day, I have the honor to give you the master's degree of the Embedded Systems program. Last year, you contacted me and you showed your interest in doing a master project in a topic related to wireless sensor networks. I sent your interest to develop, and they offered you a project in this field. The project was about developing a stable, decentralized control algorithm for smart lighting using the MyriaNet wireless platform. You started with exploring various control mechanisms and made a short list of candidate mechanisms. Then you perfectly implemented them in MATLAB and did an in-depth analysis of their performance for lighting scenarios. You did not stop there. You proceeded with a real implementation of the best mechanism based on your simulation results. You tried it out in a lighting setup based on this MyriaNet platform, and you demonstrated the behavior of the control algorithm in real circumstances. Taking these steps reveals your good implementation skills. The results of your project showed your good background and great technical skills. You were organized and you respected schedules, meetings, and deadlines. It was a pleasure for us to work with you. To conclude, I would like to congratulate you for this achievement and wish you the best in life and in your future education or career.
Thank you, Mark. The session will be continued by Sunday. Okay, that's fine for me. The session will be continued by Dr. Alessandro Di Guppiani. Yes.
Alberto, congratulations. Alberto, you took the brave decision to leave Torino, where you started your master's degree, where we have high standards for food and weather, to go to Eindhoven to pursue a joint degree here. But before I continue, I was informed that your father is here in the audience. I'm not sure, I think I see. Signor Brini, benvenuti a Eindhoven. Scusi per il brutto tempo oggi, abbiamo sempre sole accetto oggi e auguri con il laurea del vostro figlio. Okay, let's go on. So as I said, you came here to Eindhoven. You wanted to do an industrial project, so you met me. And together with Professor van den Heuvel, who cannot be here today, we gave you some choices. You took your time to make a good choice, and finally, you decided to do your master's project within Philips under the supervision of Professor Edwin van den Heuvel, who sent his regards but is abroad. And he passed the honor of addressing you to me, which I gladly accepted. You did your project in the data science flagship, which is a strategic collaboration that we have as university with Philips Research. And specifically, you did it within the topic continuous personal health, which deals with trying to monitor healthy people for things like blood pressure, sleep, etc. And the important thing to do there, and where we as statisticians try to make a contribution, is to make all those procedures personalized. For that, we use advanced models, linear mixed models, and your project was about a specific task. And what we did is that you supported the work of Marta Regis, our PhD student, who, by the way, also did a double degree from Politecnico in Torino. And you were also supervised by Nassini Nori, one of our new data science assistant professors. The project went well. I heard that, but also saw it, that you collaborated well with both Marta and Nassini. You made an impression on us in your perseverance in working, solving difficult issues, also in the software, that the statistical software didn't do what we wanted to do. And I could see this because we were having offices next to each other, and I could see from your body language that you're trying to solve difficult problems, that you were not satisfied with easy answers. I'm also told that you were a little bit strong-headed sometimes, but I think that is a compliment, because scientific progress needs people who don't accept what other people think. So please go on. We're happy that in the end you accepted our offer to become a PhD student. It took some efforts from us to convince you, because you are modest, and I think we better see the potential in you than yourself, but that will be okay. What we also see is that what we in the Netherlands usually appreciate a lot in Italians, the cheerfulness. Well, you have plenty of that, and that's good. I also saw, because we happen to be teaching in the same course, that you're a very good teacher, patient, and students like the way you do it. And to conclude is that apart from all these talents that we see in research, teaching, etc., you also have the ability to be a movie star, because you're featured in a nice way, although I know that you don't want me to say it, but nevertheless, we have made a very nice movie for our new data science program. One of the movie stars is Alberto. He did it in such a good way that it took me a few seconds to recognize him, but you can look it up in the YouTube if necessary. But again, congratulations, and I'm happy that you will be part of our group.
Thank you, Alessandro. Dr. Wessel.
Het is kennelijk gebruikelijk om dat ding eerst van harte gefeliciteerd. Dus vast. Professor Corporaal laat zich excuseren voor zijn afwezigheid. Hij is gelukkig wel zo attent geweest om wat gedachten te delen met dit papier. Beste Sander, je hebt al een zekere historie in onze groep. Je bent zo begin 2015 langs geweest in verband met het plannen van je stage en later in oktober voor een afstudeerplek via Humana. Een medestudent had je gehoord dat er bij Intel verschillende plekken beschikbaar waren. Met Humana en anderen had jij een project gedaan als onderdeel van het vak Embedded Visual Control. En daarin hadden jullie als eerste een goed werkende solar car met autonomous driving gemaakt. Dit idee was zo goed dat het volgend jaar voor alle studenten hebben overgenomen. Terugkomend op je afstuderen. Je kwam dus terecht bij Intel, hier in Eindhoven op de HTC. Nu wordt het wat technisch. Bij Intel maken ze slimme processoren, onder andere voor smartphones en tablets. Die processoren zijn nogal gespecialiseerd om het stroomverbruik te minimaliseren. Het gevolg is wel dat het genereren van efficiënte code voor deze processoren veel inspanning vereist. Je kunt niet even de compilerknop indrukken en dan verwachten dat er iets goeds uitkomt. Bij Intel leefde dus de vraag, is hier niet iets aan te doen? Kan dit niet veel automatischer? Het toeval wilde dat er recentelijk een nieuw idee was gelanceerd onder de naam Halide, dat dit wellicht mogelijk maakt. Aan jou de taak om dit idee te onderzoeken op bruikbaarheid voor de Intel-processoren. Om een lang verhaal kort te maken, je hebt je daar volledig op gestort. Er waren veel aanpassingen en nieuwe ideeën nodig om dit werkend te krijgen en geschikt te maken voor Intel speciale processoren. Je moest onder andere zeer veel regels code schrijven. Je optreden was en is bijzonder om een aantal punten. Ten eerste, je hebt een werkend resultaat afgeleverd. Hoewel, ik mag hopen dat dat niet de eerste keer is dat professor Corporaal dat heeft meegemaakt. Je was zo goed bezig dat we jou als docent hebben gevraagd voor 2 gastcolleges in ons nieuwe compilervak. En dat gebeurt vrijwel nooit. Dat kan ik inderdaad beamen. Je werk wordt binnenkort ingediend bij een gerenommeerd journal. En hiervoor moest je tijdens je Kenia-reis nog updates maken vanuit Nairobi. En Intel heeft je gevraagd nog een tijdje te blijven en de software verder te optimaliseren. Sander, kortom, meer dan uitstekend werk en dat vindt Intel ook. De afstudeercommissie heeft je resultaat dan ook met cum laude beoordeeld. Proficiat hiermee. Ik wil hierbij ook alle Intel-mensen die meegewerkt hebben, zoals Rosilde, Mohammed en Rick, bedanken voor hun grote support. Sander, ik wens je een goede carrière en hoop nog veel met je te kunnen samenwerken. Gefeliciteerd.
Thank you. Session will be continued by Professor van Leeuwaard.
Okay, so apologies for those who do not speak Dutch, but I'll also go for the Dutch version, also because you had the preference for that version. Beste Mark, ik wil eerst beginnen met jouw korte stage. Dus net voordat je met je afstuderen bent begonnen, die was bij Quintic. Quintic is een, ik kijk af en toe ook het publiek in, een beetje vreemd dit, hè? Maar Quintic is een heel leuk bedrijf in Den Bosch, consultant. Eigenlijk programmeurs en puzzelaars die moeilijke problemen kraken. En jouw begeleider daar was Josine. Josine Bruin, ze is ooit gepromoveerd in onze groep en werkt daar nu als consultant. En ze vertelde van de puzzelmiddagen die Quintic houdt onder medewerkers. En ja, dat zijn heel veel slimme programmeurs en wiskundigen en informatici bij elkaar. Dus daar heerst competitie. En waar het op neerkomt is dat je puzzels moet kraken met de software die zij ontwikkelen. En wat ik begreep is dat jij in dat korte tijdsbestek dat je daar bent geweest, 3 maanden, je moet nu al lachen volgens mij, want dat is een beetje gênant, 2 keer die interne competitie won. En nou, dat is fantastisch, heb ik van Josine begrepen. En ook een beetje apart, want je won dan Ferrero Rochers of zo, en die deelde je dan uit aan de vaste medewerkers daar. En in feite was je na een paar weken al zover om die puzzels te winnen. Maar zij vond dat een fantastische anekdote. En het is vrij helder dat Quintic je graag in dienst zou nemen. En dat komt er misschien wel ooit van, maar je bent eerst een ander pad gaan bewandelen. Gaan we over naar je stage. Die heb je intern gedaan bij mij in Sam Borst. En je hebt uiteindelijk een prachtig, omvangrijk afstudeerwerk geschreven met diepe theoretische resultaten, maar ook hele praktische algoritmes en simulaties. En je laat zien dat met nieuwe algoritmen cloud service diensten kunnen worden verbeterd of kunnen worden opgezet. En u moet weten, dames en heren, cloud service, ik denk dat u wel misschien bekend bent met Dropbox. Wie kent Dropbox hier in de zaal? Who knows Dropbox? Yeah, a few people more. And in the near future, companies like Microsoft, Google or IBM will have much more installed in the cloud. So it means that your iPad or your iPhone is just a kind of empty device, and whatever you want to do, you move up into the cloud and have it served there. And Mark looked at the algorithms that can make this work. And de bedrijven die dat ontwikkelen, Microsoft, Google en IBM, vinden dat dus ook interessant. Dus we hebben de resultaten die je hebt ontwikkeld, en het ging heel snel, al na 4 maanden gebundeld en opgestuurd naar een topconferentie. Dat is de eerste keer dat ik dat heb meegemaakt in zo'n kort tijdbestek. En dat was een behoorlijke krachtmeting die jou ook uitputte, want we werkten 2 weken vrijwel non-stop en letterlijk dag en nacht. Want Sam, de andere begeleider, zat toen in New York bij IBM, of bij Bell Labs moet ik zeggen, en nam dus steeds een stokje over van waar we mee klaar waren. Dus dat is echt 24 uur doorgegaan. En een prachtig resultaat. En misschien voor jou wel het moment waarop je meer dan ooit hebt gevoeld dat je nog heel veel bij kunt leren ook. En daar kom ik zo op terug. Deze universiteit heeft als doel om talenten zoals jullie vandaag te vormen en op te leiden tot mensen die iets bij kunnen dragen aan de maatschappij. En jouw afstudeerwerk is zo'n waardevolle bijdrage. Ik vind het heel mooi dat je ziet dat de wiskunde in alle abstractie heel krachtig is. Maar jij combineert het ook met een hoge snelheid programmeervaardigheden. Marco is ook een hele goede programmeur in onze groep. Ik ben benieuwd hoe jullie de competitie aangaan. En ook heel veel intuïtie. Onze 2-jarige master laat studenten, zoals jullie allemaal vandaag, professionaliseren. Op zoek naar waar je kracht ligt, wat je wilt bereiken. Eerst binnen je studie, in jouw geval binnen de wiskunde. En daarna in een stage en je eerste baan. En voor jou werd gaandeweg, en dat duurde een tijdje, wel duidelijk dat je verder wilde ontwikkelen in de stochastiek. Dat is de wiskunde die rekening houdt met onzekerheid en kansen. En ook gaat over netwerken en bijvoorbeeld dus cloud systemen. En jouw interesse ging uit naar vraagstukken die theoretisch uitdagend zijn, maar hopelijk wel een bepaalde impact hebben. Die voorliefde voor die stochastiek deel ik van harte. De meeste dingen die ik doe hebben niet zo heel veel impact, maar jou gaat het zeker lukken. En ik ben dan ook enorm verheugd met het feit dat jij voor een promotieplaats in onze groep hebt gekozen. Dus je gaat verder op dat onderwerp waar je start mee hebt gemaakt. Cloud-systemen, slimme algoritmes. En we hebben ook de afspraak gemaakt dat je niet op vakantie gaat. Toch? Ja. Wat wil namelijk het geval? Dus Mark zei, ja, ik wil wel promoveren, maar ik wil ook ervaring opdoen. En een Amerikaanse kijk op een PhD is, ja, Amerikanen gaan niet op vakantie in tegenstelling tot Europeanen. En dat betekent dat je in je PhD heb je denk ik 3 mogelijkheden tot vakantie. Jij dus niet, hè? En dan doe je een soort summer stage bij een van die bedrijven. Dus dat gaan we doen. En we hebben goede contacten bij die bedrijven die ik al noemde. Dus dat gaat een extra dimensie geven aan je promoveren. Dus dat is leuk. Mark, ik ga naar het einde toe. Je hebt enorm veel laten zien. Dus ik ben ervan overtuigd dat je wederom veel gaat laten zien in je PhD. En dat je zeker die lat die toch al hoog ligt een aantal keren nog gaat verhogen. Dat is het doel in ieder geval wat we gezamenlijk hebben. Maar tegelijkertijd besef ik dat dat voor later is. En voor nu is het heel belangrijk om stil te staan bij de mijlpaal die je hebt bereikt. Het afronden van je master wiskunde. Met vlag en wimpel, met cum laude. En mijn gelukwensen gaan dus uit naar jou voor deze prachtige prestatie. En ook naar je familie en vrienden. Gefeliciteerd.
Dankjewel, Johan. Dear Chi, thank you. First of all, I want to acquit myself of the honorable task of handing you over this diploma. Very well deserved. Chi, we first met, maybe you can stand a little bit. We first met last year. You approached me for a traineeship, a stage, for 3 months. I was looking around and I found a position at the electron microscope manufacturing company VEI here in Eindhoven. There you would be supervised by Bart Jansen, former colleague. So you did. And you did a very good job over there, because Bart invited you to continue your research after 3 months in a master project. And it also appeared that you liked it at VEI because you continued at VEI. Topic of your master research project was the reconstruction of selectively sampled integrated sparse image sequences. It may be unclear to you what this all means, and then that's very fine, because I'm not allowed to tell you anything about the meaning of this. The details. Chi's research is still secret, still confidential. What I can tell you is the goal of Chi's research was to help VEI to develop stronger and stronger microscopes in order to enable users of these microscopes to see smaller and smaller scales. It's really state-of-the-art research. And the mathematics involved, and therefore also, was not trivial at all. I was very glad, I'm still glad, that Remco Duits and Rui Castro were involved here at the university, and at VEI, of course, Bart Jansen. The mathematical content was tougher than we expected in the beginning. You had to adapt, it had to change all the time. You had to adapt very quickly to unexpected mathematical difficulties, new computational approaches. You were very flexible. Moreover, you appear to be very intelligent and willing to work very, very hard. And that helped a lot. The members of your master graduation committee, Bart, Remco, Rui and I, we were all very impressed by your work and by you as a person. Bart, to such an extent that at the end of your master project, he also offered you to continue to work at VEI as a researcher, which is quite exceptional. How do you do now at VEI, Chi?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, as expected.
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, she arrived 2 years ago only, all alone from China, here in Eindhoven, to do her master study. Mathematics here at the university, and now she graduates today and she's already working at VEI as a research engineer. Very impressive. My compliments. Chi, it was a pleasure for Bart, Remco and Rui and me to have worked with you as a student. I still want to quote a sentence from your assessment form, het beoordelingsformulier. I read now, Chi is communicative, reliable and honest. Moreover, she is a very pleasant person to work with. Bart now has the privilege to continue to work with you. Here now I invite you to, if you want, if job opportunities arise, for you to supervise now master students from us. Please contact me or a colleague of mine. And if opportunities also arise for you to do research which would enable you to obtain a PhD degree at VEI, to research at VEI and the degree over here, please also contact me. It's an open invitation. Having said this, Chi, I want to congratulate you and still hand to you this token of appreciation of the university. Congratulations. Then I would now like to invite Marco.
Ingenieur van Eindhoven, beste Edwin. Allereerst van harte gefeliciteerd, jij, maar ook je ouders, je vriendin en verdere familie hier aanwezig in de zaal met het behalen van dit prachtige diploma op een hele mooie wijze en daar ga ik zo meteen meer over vertellen. Ik zal eerst iets vertellen over het onderwerp waar Edwin nou niet alleen afgelopen jaar, maar zelfs de afgelopen jaren heel veel aan gewerkt heeft. Het instellen van verkeerslichten in verkeersnetwerken. Dat begon eigenlijk al zo'n 3 jaar geleden, denk ik, nog in je bachelor. Je deed je scriptie onder supervisie van mijn collega Jacques Rezing. En dat ging eigenlijk over het afstellen van verkeerslichten op momenten met name dat het heel rustig is in het netwerk, midden in de nacht. Als je denkt van waarom springt het verkeerslicht nou net voor mijn neus op rood? Nou, jij liet zien dat het eigenlijk veel beter op groen had kunnen springen. Dat soort dingen, denk ik. Maar daarna ben je verder gegaan. Een project waar Johan en ik aan werken, hadden we wat berekeningen voor uitgevoerd. Jij schreef daarbij de simulaties waarmee wij konden zien dat onze berekeningen gelukkig klopten. Dus nog steeds dank daarvoor. En je ging zelfs nog verder. Bij het stage en het afstudeerproject werkte jij bij ARS, Transport and Traffic Technology in Den Haag. Een mooi bedrijf dat oplossingen maakt, heel praktische oplossingen voor diverse problemen die in de praktijk in verkeersnetwerken optreden. En het is een heel praktisch bedrijf. Het geeft ook advies aan de overheid en aan medebedrijven. En is betrokken bij vele praktijkproeven. Dus dingen worden ook echt in de praktijk uitgevoerd. Daar kreeg jij een mooie plek onder begeleiding van Wim van Nifterik. Die ik ook bij deze wil bedanken voor zijn begeleiding vanuit ARS. En je hebt gewerkt aan het ontwikkelen van een zeer efficiënte, snelle, krachtige simulator. Je zou misschien niet zeggen, maar het instellen van verkeerslichten is een heel lastig wiskundig probleem, waar toch al decennia aan gewerkt wordt, maar nog steeds niet echte goede, duidelijke formules uit zijn gekomen. En in de praktijk worden dan ook heel vaak simulatieprogramma's geschreven en gebruikt, die dan echt heel mooi zijn tegenwoordig. Je ziet autootjes ook echt op je computerscherm over het netwerk bewegen. En dan wordt er vervolgens gekeken wat de wachttijden zijn, hoe lang de rijlengtes worden. Alleen het nadeel van die programma's is dat ze verschrikkelijk traag zijn. En nou, met de inzichten die wij hebben toch bij wiskunde opgedaan, was Edwin in staat om een veel efficiënter model te ontwikkelen. Een model waarbij wel auto's het netwerk inkomen, maar vervolgens eigenlijk samenklonteren tot vloeistof. En als vloeistof door het netwerk stromen en uiteindelijk weer als autootjes eruit komen. En dat was zoveel efficiënter dat je de bestaande simulator met vele duizenden malen sneller hebt weten te krijgen. Dus dat was echt heel indrukwekkend. En wat ik ook net zo indrukwekkend vond als het eindresultaat is, moet ik ook wel zeggen, de manier waarop je te werk bent gegaan bij je eindproject. Je hebt hard gewerkt, je bent zeer conscientieus te werk gegaan. En ik moet eerlijk zeggen, dat wist ik niet van tevoren of ik dat wel kon verwachten bij jou. Want ik weet niet of het je nog kunt herinneren, maar zo'n 5 jaar geleden, toen volgde je bij mij het vak simulatie. En dat ging heel goed. 8 opeenvolgende weken, 8 opeenvolgende opdrachten. En ja, Edwin haalde het ene hoge cijfer na het andere. En het ging zo goed dat Edwin had berekend na 6 weken... als ik nu stop, dan heb ik het vak gehaald. En dat deed hij dus ook. En dankzij jou heb ik het jaar daarna de regel ingevoerd dat studenten minstens een 5 moeten halen voor elke opdracht. En vele generaties studenten zijn jou er nu dankbaar voor sindsdien, denk ik. En hoe dan ook, wat ik daarmee wil zeggen eigenlijk met deze anekdote is op de eerste plaats dat je heel goed kunt simuleren. Dat heb je dus ook bij je eindproject nog laten zien. Maar dat je ook wat dat betreft je enorm ontwikkeld hebt. Zoals ik al zei, bij het eindproject, je werkt hard. Je werkt resultaatgericht. Je wilde echt ook het mooiste eindresultaat hebben. En tot mijn grote verbazing kwam je dan ook enkele maanden voor het eind van het project kwam je langs en zei van, ja, bij ARS is het eigenlijk een beetje rumoerig en iets te gezellig. Je kan me daar niet goed genoeg concentreren. En dat vond ik wel zeer verbazingwekkend, want ja, je bent iemand die toch wel zeer van gezelligheid houdt. En ja, wat dat betreft heb ik het idee, ik heb je hier vaak gezien op de universiteit als student, maar ook bij gewis. En ja, behalve het instellen van verkeerslicht heb je nog 2 grote hobby's. En dat is volgens mij bier tappen en bier drinken. En dat deed je vrij veel, niet alleen hier, maar ook bij het muziekgebouw, waar je ook, heb ik begrepen, veel hielp. En behalve dat je een heel leuk studentenleven hier volgens mij hebt gehad, heb je ook daar hard gewerkt. Je bent bij gewis in het bestuur actief geweest als PR-functionaris. En ook daar deed je het goed. Ook daar heb je zeer belangrijke ervaring opgedaan. En ik weet niet zeker of het een rol heeft gespeeld, maar het valt me op dat je echt, net zoals gelukkig veel van onze studenten, maar zeker jij ook heel gemakkelijk een baan hebt weten te vinden. Waarschijnlijk door het harde werken, door de ervaring die je hebt opgedaan als PR-functionaris. En ja, dat vind ik heel knap. Je bent nu IT-specialist bij Brunel. Ik wens je daar dan ook heel veel succes en toe. Ja, je hebt veel ervaring opgedaan in het schrijven van programma's de laatste jaren. Dus ik weet zeker dat dat zeer succesvol gaat worden. En bij deze heel veel succes daar.
Dank u, Marco. De laatste is nou dat je tijd wat we verder de wereld.
Maron, gefeliciteerd. alsjeblieft. Wie het laatst lacht, lacht het best. Maran, als ik het mij goed herinner, hebben wij elkaar voor het eerst ontmoet toen jij in VWO 5 zat. Klopt dat?
Ja, zoiets.
Ik gaf toen een gastles, dat doe ik af en toe op middelbare scholen en over cryptografie. En jij was wel een van de meer geïnteresseerde leerlingen daar. Viel mij op. Niet lang daarna, toen je in VWO 6 zat, ging jij profielwerkstuk schrijven over cryptografie. En toen kwamen wij elkaar weer tegen, want ik heb je daar een klein beetje bij geholpen, maar veel was dat niet nodig. En ja, hier sta je dan met een masterdiploma afgestudeerd in de cryptografie. In de tussentijd heb je natuurlijk hard gestudeerd en heb ik je af en toe een beetje gevolgd. Maar eerlijk gezegd niet zo heel veel, want je bent niet bij mij afgestudeerd, maar bij professor Tanja Lange. Daar heb ik zo nog een boodschap van. Maar een van de dingen die jij ook hebt gedaan is nog wat promotieactiviteiten voor onze opleiding. En dames en heren, u zult misschien begrijpen dat wij daarvoor graag meisjes gebruiken. De leerlingen die naar die promotieactiviteiten komen, de meisjes daarvan, die denken dan van, goh, bij wiskunde in Eindhoven zijn er veel leuke meisjes, daar moet ik zijn. En de jongensleerlingen, die denken eigenlijk precies hetzelfde. Dank je voor je bijdrage daarin. Tanja Lange kan er vandaag niet bij zijn. Ze zit in het buitenland, maar ze heeft mij een tekstje toegestuurd dat ik zal voorlezen. Dat is dan wel in het Engels. Dear Maran, I'm sorry that I cannot be here today. I would like to congratulate you and your family and partner to your successful graduation. The topic of your thesis is to study crypto systems of the future. Systems that can resist attacks by quantum computers and that we will need to move on in the near future. You studied two competing systems and analyzed the benefits for efficiency and security. For the security estimates, you went above and beyond my expectations. Dat zijn de expectations van Tanja, niet die van mij. And even got some cloud credit to run big computations and simulations. The result was a very good thesis, which we are now turning into a paper. It is nice for me that we are still working together on that, and I hope that we will have more good collaborations via your new job at TNO. Of course, what we had really wanted was to keep you as a PhD student, but I can also understand that you are attracted by the less futuristic problems that TNO has to offer. I wish you all the best with your endeavor. En dat doe ik bij deze ook. Van harte geluk gewenst met het resultaat en veel succes in de toekomst in je carrière en je persoonlijke leven. Nogmaals gefeliciteerd.
Thank you, Ben. The presentation will now be given, ladies and gentlemen, by the chairman of Students Association Gewis, Milo Vis.
Thank you very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, students, family members and all other attendees, today is a special day. For all the master students sitting here, today they have earned their title Master of Science, which is the result of many years of hard work. And I'm glad to be standing here and to see the joy on the face of all of you. Receiving a master's degree in embedded systems or mathematics is a great achievement for all of you. Something not only you can be proud of, but also your friends and your family. But also me, in the name of Gewis. We are proud of you. For some of you, Gewis has been a sort of second home during the entire study, from bachelor to master, from the beginning to the end. And I would like to pay some special attention to one of the persons sitting here, and I will do that in Dutch. Edwin, could you please come forward? Als eerste gefeliciteerd natuurlijk.
Ja, dankjewel.
Jezus, ja. Ja, Edwin, wij zijn jou dit keer niet vergeten. Dit is natuurlijk een van de dingen die vaak gebeurt. Edwin is een wat stillere jongen en heel vaak binnen onder andere zijn dispuut. Een dispuut is een vriendengroep die graag samen activiteiten binnen gewis doen. Wordt die nog wel eens vergeten, maar dit keer niet. We hebben namelijk grondig onderzoek gedaan naar jou. En we zijn op heel veel... en je hebt eigenlijk heel veel dingen gedaan en die heb ik nu ook voor me. Ik ga niet alles toelichten, maar wel een aantal dingen. Een van de dingen, eigenlijk het ding waardoor ik jou heb leren kennen, is net ook al een beetje verteld. Dat is de barcommissie. Jij bent penningmeester geweest, maar ook voorzitter en secretaris van de barcommissie. En zelfs ik ben ook nog lid geworden tijdens jouw voorzitterschap van de barcommissie. En die barcommissie, dat is iets speciaals voor jou. Dat is elke donderdag nodigt gewis al haar leden uit om een drankje te komen doen. En Edwin die heeft ervoor gezorgd dat dat gewoon elke donderdag een aantal jaar lang heel erg goed staat. En binnen de barcommissie was het ook altijd een soort van wedstrijd van... hey Edwin, ga nou eens afstuderen. Het duurt heel erg lang. Maar dat heb je nu eindelijk gedaan. En nu kan je tegen de rest zeggen dat ze moeten gaan afstuderen. En vooral Thijs kan dat nog een hele tijd gaan aanhoren. Dus ik denk dat hij daar wel van gaat genieten. Maar buiten het feit dat jij actief bent bij een dispuut, maar ook bij de barcommissie, heb jij ook een bestuursjaar gedaan. Als PR-functionaris van het 31ste bestuur. Als PR-functionaris ben je natuurlijk bezig, vooral met de contactlegging van bedrijven. Dit is ook net ook al verteld. Maar je hebt nog iets bijzonders gedaan. Je hebt namelijk een studiereis neergezet voor de faculteit Wiskunde en Informatica. En die studiereis die ging naar Japan. En dat is ook iets waar jij heel erg veel van geleerd hebt. Maar ik denk ook alle deelnemers die mee zijn gegaan op studiereis. Want het is toch wel iets bijzonders. Maar buiten het feit dat jij heel veel activiteiten hebt neergezet, heb je ook heel veel serieuze dingen gedaan voor ons. Namelijk een kascontrolecommissie 2 maal. Dat betekent dat jij gecontroleerd hebt of alles financieel wel klopt bij onze vereniging. Je hebt in een commissie gezeten die heel erg zich bezighoudt met bedrijven en de ontwikkeling daarvan. Die noemen wij Euro 4. En je hebt ook nog in de internationale commissie gezeten, waar vooral veel internationale studenten bij zitten, sci-fi. En met hun heb je heel veel leuke activiteiten gedaan. Maar wat mij eigenlijk vooral heel erg tot het hart spreekt, is hoeveel geld jij nou eigenlijk uitgegeven hebt aan de barcommissie en aan de bar. Mag ik dat vertellen? Dat gaat om €3.500. En dat is best wel wat. En natuurlijk, net werd al gezegd, bier drinken en bier tappen. Dat zijn de 2 favoriete hobby's van Edwin. En dan is het natuurlijk ook heel erg belangrijk om zijn favoriet product uit te lichten. Dat is namelijk de Coca-Cola Zero. Dat is geen biertje. En dat verbaasde mij heel erg. En dat vond ik wel even leuk om te benoemen. Als laatste heb ik nog wel een kleinigheidje voor jou. En dat is wel een heel lekker biertje. Nogmaals gefeliciteerd. Ja, dankjewel. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing left for me to say is to congratulate you all on achieving and receiving your bachelor degree or your master degree. May this only be a stimulus for the rest of your life, and may you only accomplish anything you want to accomplish. Thank you very much.
Dear Masters of Science, with reference to the words of all previous speakers, and on behalf of Eindhoven University of Technology, I would like to congratulate you all, together with your family and friends, with your degrees. I wish you all success in your future careers. Still some serious words now on behalf of the Executive Board of Eindhoven University of Technology. I'm going to read from the Code of Conduct. The scientific degree of Master of Science involves duties as well as rights. As a holder of this degree, you are committed to the standards of scientific integrity. These are trustworthiness, intellectual honesty, openness and independence. These standards are described in more detail in the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Scientific Practice and in the Eindhoven Code derived from it. You also have duties towards society. You must be clear about the boundaries of your own expertise, and you must communicate honestly and independently about the results of your work, including potential risks associated with it. And you are committed to the ethical codes for research and design involving human subjects or animals. Then finally, still a request. The university likes to keep in contact with her graduates. We therefore ask you to register in the alumni net and to become a member of one of our alumni associations. And more detailed information about this membership can be found in a folder, which, if it is correct, you have just received. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your presence here today. The formal part of this session is hereby closed, and I will now explain the informal part, which will follow next. You graduates still remain seated. You will form a line in front of here. I suggest that you will be facing the lecture hall. And next, all supervisors will congratulate you, and after these congratulations, you and the supervisors, the beadle and I, we will leave through that door over there. There will be a photographer over there, and there will be champagne or Prosecco, I don't know. We will see. And then, after we, here in front, have left, then you, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience, you are invited to leave the lecture hall over there. Dus nadat wij weg zijn, graag u door die deur naar buiten. There will be drinks, hopefully waiting over there for you. And after a few minutes, the graduates will join you, and then you will have the opportunity to congratulate the graduates. So, dear graduates, now may I invite you to form a line over here, maybe in a circle. It's so please standing up like this, in a circle. Please, yes, perfect. Okay, now may I invite the supervisors to join me in congratulating the graduates.